What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. You seen the thumbnail, you see the picture. Darrell E. Brooks, 39-year-old Darrell E. Brooks, is fucking racist. There's no better way to describe this, and the reason I'm making this video is because, as you know, we're going through the Ahmaud Arbery trial. We just went through the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and racism is permeated all throughout the American media right now. And you're hearing people ask, well, what if Kyle Rittenhouse was black? Or what if that individual was black? Would things have went the way they went? Okay, well, there's no way you can do a fair discussion on racism without bringing up Darrell E. Brooks, okay? Well, you'd ask, well, who the hell is Darrell E. Brooks? Well, as you know, we just had a mass murder event in Wisconsin, where an individual drove through a holiday parade, ran over 40 plus people, and killed. Right now, I believe the count is at 6. Somebody else just passed away today. This guy, if I can get a better licensure, that's Darrell E. Brooks, 39-year-old. And yeah, he's pretty much going to go away for fucking ever. Now, the reason I'm bringing up the idea of him being a racist, like I said, it would be unfair at this point not to. Now, at the time that I decided to make this video, this here was his victims list. As you can see, all of the victims are white. All of them. Between the ages of 52 and 81, but that's just the ones that are dead. That's not including, like I said, he ran over 40 plus people. And yeah, he went to a town that's over 80% white, drove through a parade and fucking ran him over. The reason I'm showing you that picture and the reason why I'm saying this guy is white, you have to ask the question, what if Darrell E. Brooks was white and all of those victims were black? Will we not be calling this shit out? Will we not be going bananas on this? Now, there's a lot more to this case, and I'm going to try to cover as much as I can without making a video too long. But this dude was out on $1,000 bail at the time of the event where he ran these folks over. Now, here's some of his history. He punched his baby mama in the face and ran her over right before running all these people over. He was charged with a second-degree felony for that. He has a domestic violence record for that, resisting a police officer during that account, and he was also charged for bail jumping. But that was just that case. Now, when you listen to all of this shit that I just stated, that's just a small portion of it. He's already a convicted felon in 2 other states. He was charged for shooting at people. He has a record of pedophilia where he's on video admitting to pimping out a minor under the age of 16. In addition, he got that same minor that he was pimping out pregnant, and she is the mother of his child. And at the time, he was 24. So he, being a 24-year-old man, got a woman pregnant that was under the age of 16, that he is on video admitting that he took her to Las Vegas to pimp her out as well. First question is, how the hell does he get $1,000 bail before he even goes on to run over all of these people? Now, the reason I'm bringing up his prior criminal record, and oftentimes I say that, you know, what a person did during that day should be focused on, and you don't throw somebody else's criminal record into something that has, you know, it doesn't have any relevance. Where in this case, had he not been given such a low bail, he wouldn't have been free to do what he did at the holiday parade. But we have to ask also, in regards to me bringing up that there's a lot of racism questions to be asked. How does a black guy, a black man, get out of jail with $1,000 bail with all of the charges I just named in a world where we often claim that white privilege is an issue? This is a black man with a host of felonies in multiple states getting out of jail with on $1,000 bail. That's some shit that we normally would say, you got to be white and rich to get it. Oh, wait, what? He is neither. He is a black felon roaming around committing all kinds of acts of thuggery, and he walks with $1,000 bail. Now, that's a whole different argument for the system and how some judge out there in fucking space failed to let this guy out in the first place. But I'm mentioning this, all of this is because we often talk about racism from an aspect where blacks are the victim. And this is clearly the other fucking way around. I mean, this guy should have been incarcerated for a long period of time. With the record of pedophilia, he's admitting he was pimping this same girl out. She's pregnant by him. He shot at 2 people. He was charged with that. He's been charged as a felon in possession of a firearm. He's been charged for possession of meth. He's been charged with strangulation of someone. All of this shit is in this dude's past, and he's only 39 years old. He's done time in prison. How he ended up getting a $1,000 bail in 2020, 2021 is fucking baffling. This dude is literally the reason they created 3-strike laws. He's probably at strike 15 or some shit. So that is a whole separate section of just the atrocities this one guy committed. But let's stick with the racism because that is where we're targeting. And I have to admit, being a handsome liberal, I often say that I can see both sides of an issue. So I'm pointing this out without a doubt that even being a black guy, you got to be able to see when your side is fucking up or when blacks are fucking up. And this is a clear-cut case of that. This guy has social media posts supporting Black Lives Matter. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's not saying anything, but in addition to supporting Black Lives Matter, he has social media posts of a black man whipping 2 white people with a belt, and that's on his social media page. And here's a quote that's on his page coming from him himself. When we start back knocking white people the fuck out, I don't want to hear it. The old white people too. Knock them the fuck out, period. That's a quote coming from him. I believe it was on Twitter or one of the social media pages, but that also came out. So everything about this dude would be some shit that we would bitch our asses off if he was white running over half a dozen black people in a town that was 85% black. I can't go any deeper into it than that. If you don't see the bias, if you don't see or you don't feel we should call this guy a racist, but you're pissed off with Kyle Rittenhouse or the McMichaels for killing Ahmaud Arbery, then you're just fucking biased. You should be able to see both sides of something if you truly have a passion for us progressing out of it. And progressing out of it means, addressing it when it happens and not ignoring it when it's being done by one side as opposed to the other. There's no way in the world we're going to let a white guy run over 5 black people in a black town and 40 other black people and not call that shit racist. There's just no fucking way that's going to happen. So there's no way I can watch it happen in reverse and not call it exactly that. If you want to call this guy a terrorist, you want to call this guy a racist, I'm willing to fix any label on him that is thrown out, because his social media page, his history, his actions, everything about him says he deserves those labels. And of course, to close it out, the witnesses actually stated that he was going back and forth and clearly targeting people. There's no way you're driving down the street through a Waukesha parade and not realizing all of those are white people. And it's one of those deals where even if he truly is not a racist, which there's no fucking way you're going to ever convince me he's not a racist based on everything I'm talking about. But if he wasn't, we wouldn't accept that coming from a white guy. Like I said, you ran over half a dozen, or not ran over, you killed half a dozen black people. You got anti-black shit all over your social media page. And you did it in an all-black, well, I won't say all-black, but a town that is overwhelmingly black. And you're a white guy. There is absolutely no way we wouldn't have Sharpton, Jackson, Ben Crump, and virtually thousands of Black Lives Matter members in Waukesha going the fuck off. And I guess finally the reason I'm saying this stuff is because this is dangerous, folks. This is really this is way worse than Ahmaud Arbery, just simply because of the amount of people that were injured and the fact of all of the crap that's on his social media page, his history and all of that. This is the kind of shit that does cause race wars and just horrible things to follow. I mean, you don't think that there's some racists on the other side out there watching this shit saying we need to get them back or we need to strike one, strike for one for whatever. You don't believe this is angering a whole lot of people? Whoever that fucking judge is needs to be removed from the bench. I don't get it. I just don't. There's no legitimate explanation. From what I hear is that he wanted a speedy trial, and this was during the height of the pandemic. And because they couldn't give him a speedy trial, they gave him this ridiculously low bail. Fucking come up with something that you can hold this guy. Give this dude a speedy trial, even if you got to call everybody to the court just to run it. There's no way somebody with this much this amount of significant violence in their past should be given $1,000 bail. First of all, with the amount of shit he was dealing with, one of them being bail jumping. Why would you give a guy $1,000 bail that's already been charged with bail jumping? You think he's going to come back? With the amount of felonies on this guy's record, he'd have to know he's already looking at fucking forever. Which also answers another question that I originally wondered when I first heard of this. If he's running from a domestic violence incident, why would you run from a domestic violence incident and go kill a whole host of people? Well, when you hear about his record, it becomes clear. He was already facing forever anyway. He already was in a situation where he had nothing to lose. So it makes more sense. I mean, at the time he ran them over, he was already on a run, like I said, for the other charges I mentioned. And with his criminal history and him already being out on $1,000 bail for a slew of charges, he's already probably was facing forever in prison. So him driving through that parade and running people over was literally a man that already had nothing to lose. And he's in Wisconsin, so they can't sentence him to death. He was already going to prison for decades. Had he not ran a single person over, he had already done enough that he was probably going to do 20 plus years in prison or more. Assuming he didn't get another fucking judge that was handing out Christmas gifts. But anyway, folks, this video went on long enough. This one has me kind of heated because I'm often told I only see the liberal side of shit or I only see the black folks side of shit. And yeah, like I said, I have no problem admitting I'm a liberal, handsome liberal, what the fuck ever. But there's no doubt that I can see as clear as day that this dude is a racist piece of scum. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to put him way above Cal Rittenhouse and even the McDonald's or whatever the hell their names are down in Georgia that killed Ahmaud Arbery. This is way worse than that. I mean, you're talking about a guy who took his vehicle and literally tried to hit and run over as many people as he fucking possibly could. And even in the Rittenhouse and the Ahmaud Arbery case, even though they were flat out dumb in what they did, there was some legitimate reasons for them acting in the way they acted. I don't agree with anything they did, but there were some legitimate reasons for them to do what they did. And in Cal Rittenhouse's case, his life was in danger, but he shouldn't have been there. But that ain't got shit to do with this dude. This dude was just a fucking piece of evil that I can't even describe it accurately because it pisses me off so much. This was just an evil deed. He didn't have any type of connection to these folks at all. He just found a bunch of innocent people and started running them over. So we can talk about Cal Rittenhouse and that shit down in Georgia all day long. This dude, Darrell Brooks, is 1,000 times worse. So I don't know if CNN or MSNBC, you probably won't hear from Sharpton on this shit. You won't hear from Joe Biden, who called Cal Rittenhouse a white supremacist. You won't hear from any. In fact, Joe Biden already stated that he has to wait till the full details come out. That sounds like some Charlottesville both sides type bullshit. There's enough out already to know this dude is a piece of garbage, piece of scum. So it's biased, folks. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's a biased view where we can clearly see racism when blacks are victims, and this is a case where whites are victims, and people are crossing their T's and dotting their I's a lot more before just throwing out terms. Even though this dude, from sun up to sundown meets the definition of a terrorist, racist, hating piece of evil. So I don't know if you got any comments on this or not. Once again, as I always ask you to do, go ahead and show your boy some love. Hit the subscribe. If you, I don't know, there's no way to like this shit, but if you do, feel free to hit the thumbs up. If not, hit the thumbs down. I already know what you don't like about the videos. Fucking killer many times over. Anyway, boy, this is your boy, the Handsome Liberal. We will catch you in the next video. Hopefully it's on a more positive note.